Hello and welcome to Broken Entertainment, and today we're going to break down the Total Warhammer 3 announcement trailer, which I think is really good, and there are a couple of ways this game is already promising to do things in better ways than the tabletop game did originally, particularly with some of the factions they're including, which we'll get into once we start the trailer, but really liked what I saw. You know, the first two games so far have been great, and from everything I've seen, they do intend to do a Mortal Empires campaign for this one as well that will tie all three games together and make the entire world, which will be fantastic. Personally, I don't play the main storyline campaigns because I know the storyline, and I don't really like to go against it in that sort of sense, that kind of narrative sense. Whereas I much prefer just grand campaigns of empire building and conquest and fun. So let's go ahead and get into it here. Opens with your usual warnings. Sega. You know, I really hate these lead ups. Sega, and then this credits basically. Love the blood on the snow. So if you're not familiar, this is showing Kislev. Stop it here. One of the things that is not done very well in the tabletop game before it turned into Age of Shitmar is Kislev. There's some fluff about it, but there's not a whole lot of actual, like, this is what the army looks like, this is the kind of weaponry they use, and these, like, magical ice pikes are awesome. And I love the sort of combination of different cultures here. You've got some Russian with some sort of Mongol influence a little bit on the hat, and love the fact that the guards have spears and not swords, because it's just a good idea.
So much to tell you.
She just kind of brushed.
But I have run out
You got
of
this guy with
time.
these, like, rings here.
The sacrifice I made was not enough.
And then, I know it's a trailer. Trailers always look better than the game. And especially in a Total Warhammer game, you're not going to get a whole lot of this unless you're playing the, like, regular campaign. But this is an excellent job on this face. And then, so this character is actually the Tsarina of Kislev, and these ice blue eyes are pretty awesome. Not only do they fit the theme of Kislev, but the fact that she's an ice witch. Like the gems going on here too.
Dark gods still feed on our transgressions.
Great shot of Grandfather Nurgle, which is about to get a lot grosser. That's just really gross, which is exactly how it should be. Slanesh, you get this really weird, brief close-up shot of his face. Actually not that big a fan, because there's nothing that tells me it's Slanesh necessarily. I mean, I know it is, but... Great shot of Zenith. Corn again. It's a little generic. You know, there is some art of what Corn looks like. And I mean, it's kind of like this, but it just... I mean, it's cool, but there's nothing that really separates him from, like, Diablo, because it's just so up close.
You must face these demons.
Wow, look at that. You can see all the text on them. And then she's just like, okay, I'm gonna go kick somebody's ass. And that is delightfully Kislev. Kislev is a bunch of hard asses that have spent their entire existence as a nation fighting against chaos invasions. And they're not like the Empire. They're not a big, sprawling, expansive, powerful empire. They're this little kingdom, and they just get hammered every time chaos shows up. So, all these people would be absolute badasses. And she just comes striding out. Crown turns on. I don't know. It must be a magic item. She's got this like arcane ice sword thing going on. And he's like, wait, okay, never mind. So, this again, done better than the actual tabletop game, because you heard they had bear cavalry, you never saw it, and this is intimidating as hell. Bear cavalry sounds kind of silly, but these look great. And then, so you're getting a really good shot at the different units that you're going to see. And one of the problems with the two previous games is that chaos was really generic. Well, you can see here already, there's skull crushers of corn. Here we have bloodletters, and that guy is super dead. The blood, all this looks great. But again, she's just like, I'm just gonna try through. Bloodthirster killing everyone. The bloodthirster wants what they do. So, already in the trailer, we know you're going to be able to play Kislev with awesome freaking bear cavalry and like stabby ice swords and an ice wizard, which is very, very different from any of the magic you get in any of the other factions. You've got skull crushers of corn, you got bloodletters of corn, you got the bloodthirster of corn, that's a much better shot. And, got to remember the demons are all kind of a visage of what the god looks like. So that's a much better shot than I think what we get in the trailer. And this looks freaking beautiful. I mean, all the detail on it is spot on. It looks great. I don't know what spell she's casting here. It's gonna be awesome. One thing I will say, I don't think we see it in the trailer. Oh, you do. A little bit. Cathay is also a faction. And this is the other thing they do a lot better than they do in the tabletop game. Because in the tabletop game, you mention Cathay all the time in the background, but you never get to actually see Cathay. And there was so much potential there because you have this super powerful empire from the east, potentially ruled by a freaking dragon. And they've got this awesome army of constructs and stuff, and you never see any of it. So to be able to play it as a faction, that's just going to be awesome. And then it really completes the world in a sense. And then you don't see a whole lot of them in the trailer, though. That guy's not from... I mean, I guess he could be from Cathay, but this is not a Cathayan symbol. That looks like Sigmar to me, or a Sigmarite order of some kind. I'm blanking on the name. But bringing in Kislev and Cathay is brilliant, and really gives kind of a wrap to the series, I think, because you're going to get this epic game that you can play on a grand scale across an entire world in a way that you've never been able to do with Total War games before. You've always been, Europe or Rome or Japan, but this is an entire world. And they've really gone above and beyond anything I ever expected, even though the Total War games have been great. I never expected them to be like this with these three games. The level of detail, the level of accuracy to the lore, and even to the rules. If you look at a lot of the background uh, mechanics that are going on in the game, they work in a very similar fashion to the way the tabletop game worked in 8th edition. And just that level of detail, you see it in their historical games, but I didn't expect it. I didn't expect them to treat Warhammer in the same way. And it's just awesome that the work they've done on these two games and the work to bring in Cathay and Kislev where you have almost nothing to work with in terms of what the army looks like, how it fights. You know, you only got that information in terms of how it might fight in one of the Forge World books near the end of 8th edition. And even then you didn't see it. You know, they describe a battle, but it's this weird, chaotic, like, huge scale battle where you don't really know what a normal sized army would look like. So I'm really excited about it. I am a huge Warhammer Fantasy fan, and that game was taken away from me so that we could get a really terrible skirmish game and with even worse background, and to see it coming to life again. You know, when I'm like, man, I wish I could play fantasy, I can. I go and play these games and I feel like I'm playing fantasy. It's awesome. And I just can't say enough good about it, honestly. Um, Great job by Sega. I look forward to this game. I don't know if I'll buy it early on because I usually like to wait until the Mortal Empires campaign comes out, which is usually, I think even here they're saying it's going to be at least a month after release. But there is supposed to be some kind of pre-order race pack, so we'll see what that is and what you can get for doing it, and then I might buy it. If it's chaos, I'm all in. Just gonna say that now. If they get some freaking love to the chaos faction and get some characters in there that aren't just freaking Sigvald and Hammer Smashy guy whose name I suddenly forgot for Norit Kolek and Archeon, I will be very, very happy. And I'll go ahead and pay it. But yeah, definitely looking forward to the game. And I think it's going to be awesome. I think the trailer was awesome. So if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit the bell for notifications of new videos, and I will see you next time.